I was so excited for this free cleaning. This mama was in desperate need of a good clean, declutter, and organize of what she wants to be her baby's nursery. Not only does she currently have the most adorable 13-month-old daughter, but she is also very, very pregnant with a little boy, and he will be coming any day now. So she has had her 13-month-old in her and her husband's room, but has been transferring her into her own room, knowing that baby boy is going to be here any day now. On top of that, she also has an 8 and a 17-year-old, so needless to say, she has her hands full. This room has been used as a storage room, as you can tell by all the stuff in it, and I really just wanted to go through and really help her get it manageable, as well as setting a game plan of how to keep moving forward and getting the space more ready for baby boy. She does plan on making this a dual nursery, so yes, baby girl is going to be in here for now, but eventually it will be her and her brother sharing this room. And as you can see, there's just a lot of stuff between baby stuff everywhere. She also has a lot of like overflow toys from her 8-year-old daughter, and then just random storage pieces that they needed to get out. Now, I did warn her at this phase in it all is it always looks worse before it gets better, and especially since this room is right off the front entry, I tried to pull absolutely everything out. She did kind of give me an idea of things she knew she right away just wanted to get rid of, and I always recommend doing this on the day before garbage pickup because it makes life so much easier. That way, anything that was donations, we put in a donation pile, and anything that we were just trashing, we were able to put at the road right away. A couple of those things is she had tables from her husband's grandmother. They had been holding on to them. She finally talked her husband into just letting them go. They weren't being used anyway, and this way that they can actually go to someone that will love and appreciate them and not just shoved in a corner in their spare room. She also had a loft bed that used to be her daughter's that they have taken apart and is just in this room that they don't need anymore. So just getting to those two big items I knew would make a huge difference of space, and trying to figure out a configuration of how things are actually going to work in this space.
You got me waiting, yeah, you got me waiting for it. You're keeping me on. Yeah, I'm strapped in, stuck in a song.
I often go through the exact same conversation with everyone I work with, but she kept coming in like, oh my goodness, you are working so quickly. Because needless to say, between how pregnant she was and having a 13-month-old running around, which, by the way, I was telling her, I'm like, it is so cute seeing your baby running around. Her daughter is literally 2 days older than Athena. I'm like, my little one is not walking yet, so seeing your little one just like roaming around is the cutest thing ever. But she was keeping the baby distracted and out of the way while I was doing this. She did help with some of it, but I didn't want her to overburden herself. And I knew, honestly, just taking care of the baby is enough. And that is one reason I love helping different people, because there's so many different reasons, if it's an ailment, physically or mentally, or in this situation, often just moms that can't. Like, if she got in here, even if she wasn't pregnant, she would have to work in those short little spurts you have at nap time, and this was definitely a project that needed a good solid 3 hours to bust it out, because like I said, it got worse before it got better. That hallway was packed with stuff, and when you have little ones running around, for safety reasons alone, you can't do things like this on your own. So It was a great way for me to come in. I think I spent about 3.5 hours here on this day, just getting everything to a much more manageable situation. But I was telling her, she's like, you're just moving so quickly. And I'm like, well, you have to remember, me emotionally, I have no emotional attachment to any of this stuff. So I look at it and it's like a puzzle. I can work in someone else's house so much faster than I can work in my own, just because mentally it is so much less daunting when I am somewhere else. And it's purely analytical. There's no emotion to it, nothing. It's just trying to figure out, all right, how is this going to work? What stuff has to go back in this room? What stuff is coming out of this room? And knowing that in a little bit of time, we are going to have to put a second crib in this room, trying to mentally envision exactly where everything is going to fit and go. Now, this huge piece of furniture you see to the left of the room, so that is actually a, what are they called? Not day beds. They're the ones that like pull Murphy bed. That's it. It is a Murphy bed. So her and her husband are going back and forth if they're going to keep it or get rid of it. Because in some ways, it's really nice once the kids get a little bit older that you can have this type of bed in here and they still have all the floor space to play. But obviously it takes up a ton of room and it does give some storage. But in comparison to how big the piece of furniture is, it doesn't give as much storage as a lot of people would be hoping for. Now, as I'm going around, I am making sure to clean the areas really good, especially the areas that I know I'm going to be putting back stuff. So I know this wall is going to have things again, and I wanted to make sure that there's like little pebbles and beads and clip-on, like little girl clip-on nails and things like that. So I wanted to make sure everything was cleaned up and off the floor before anything got moved back to that space. And then on to these cabinets. I noticed in these cabinets, they either weren't being fully utilized or had a lot of stuff that just was not necessary in this space. So it was nice to be able to open these up and actually see I had a lot more storage space to work with than I originally anticipated.
Do you remember when we couldn't get enough of it all? We kept it going for so long, so long. I don't know where I would be if we let it go. 'Cause every time we try to break it down.
It is funny going through all this stuff. It's the amount of stuff you get when you have a baby, and not just like, oh, you had a baby shower or something like that, but I was finding all these different, like those little, when you start a registry gift bags, the little gift bags you often either get from the hospital or the OB, that has so many just like random trinket things in it. Now, some of them are useful, but often I know we find stuff and we don't actually use it. So I was making a specific bag that was like just those random gift bags you get as freebies for your registry or the hospital or stuff like that. That way she could go through it, because that is very specific from one mom to the next. I know for my kids, you get those like sample formulas and pacifiers, things like that, and my kids never used it. I don't know, but my kids were never pacifier kids. I tried. There was actually days that I wished they were. I always bought them those cute pacifiers with the little stuffed animal attached to it, and not a single one of my 4 kids took it. But either way, I knew it was very specific to how she'd be using stuff and what she still needed compared to didn't need, because often you get duplicates of stuff that just isn't necessary. But it was nice just going through each one of these areas and just trying to organize it out. So she has a ton of diapers, because obviously when she found out she was pregnant again, she's like, well, I'm going to keep any of the sizes that her daughter grows out of for baby boy. And I just wanted to make sure that's like, okay, here's an area of the room where you know it's okay, it's just diapers, just wipes. Easy to find and easy to keep maintained.
You know, we never let it
So I wanted to do a quick shout out to a couple of the girls that I recently collabed with. So YouTube came out with a new feature, which I absolutely love. You guys know there are certain people here on YouTube that they're more than just like other YouTubers I know. They're like true, genuine friends. Lynn White, I have hung out with her in person. We talk on the phone regularly. Absolutely love her. Jessie from Jessie Lifestyle at Home. She actually is one of the first people I ever met here on YouTube. Like, we talk every single day. We are the best of friends. Like, I honestly, which is crazy because I've like never met Jessie in person, but when it comes to friends, she's probably my best friend and absolutely love her. And then Jamie from Jamie's Journey, another woman that I have known for many, many years. We talk to on the phone. Like, I love these girls, and YouTube created a new feature where you can collab with people, and it's really nice because they actually made it, instead of all the links in the description, we can do it straight through YouTube. So if you see anything like that from my channel or anyone else's channel, I like to keep you guys up to date because sometimes YouTube does these changes and it goes a little wonky. A lot of you can attest my YouTube channel was being very wonky last week, and I apologize for that. But I really, really like this new option. I am always about supporting my friends here on YouTube, and just know if I ever do a collab, the people I collab with are like genuine people I love. They're not just other YouTubers. They are good people, and I love being able to support other women and being a group of people that like understand each other, can chat about the good, the bad, the ugly, and that's who these women are to me. So thank you everyone that was supportive and went over there and said hi if you've never seen those ladies, because they are like very near and dear to my heart. So I actually love that YouTube has that feature where I can now tag my friends when we do collab type setups and just make it a lot easier, because yes, I absolutely love those girls. Oh, here you can see the little girl getting into trouble. Oh, it's so cute in that doorway. I knew she would though. There's so much stuff out there and she was just so curious. The funny thing is though, she was super duper curious and wanting to watch the whole time, but at the same time she did not want to get near me. She didn't want me to get near her. Like, she's like, I want to see what you're doing, but do not take a step towards me. Definitely in the stranger danger phase of her life.
Clap your hands and you'll feel stronger. Tomorrow you get another chance. Don't blame yourself under the circumstances.
Now, I often get people ask how I organize things. So in big projects like this, my goal is to first my organized chaos, like very broad organization, clothes, toys. Like, I'm not breaking it down too much. And I do this for one of two reasons. One, I see progress quickly. And if you are someone that struggles with motivation, seeing the progress happen quickly makes a big difference. But the other thing is to take away the amount of being overwhelmed. Because once I have the organized chaos where everything's in bigger, broader, like sections, I can then go into those sections and micro organize them some more. But by micro organizing the big mess, that the progress goes a lot slower and it's just so overwhelming. I also love this when you are a busy mom, because often you don't have hours and hours that you can do something. You only have like 10 minutes here, 30 minutes there. So being able to have these areas that you did pretty quickly, I can do a like rough organization in about 30 minutes. After you do that, Then you can go in and take these smaller sections that you rough organized and spend 30 minutes here, an hour there, and do your micro organizing without feeling as overwhelmed. I knew a lot of this stuff I did need to bring I can't talk this morning, bring back in here, but we were talking, there is certain things that she wants to go through even more with her 8-year-old, and I think a lot of our conversation actually was around her 8-year-old. She has a hard time letting go of things, hard time keeping her room clean, and she was just asking what the easiest way of things to go about it. So I think we are going to make time for me to come back and help her in her other daughter's room. But I told her, I'm like, I really recommend, if possible, doing it when your daughter is home and talking about different strategies, because I feel like the most overwhelming thing is every child is very, very different. And I told her this. I'm like, I have some children that decluttering, organizing, cleaning is super easy. Like Freya, she is a clean freak. She likes her room tidy. She likes her room organized. The boys don't have like sentimental attachments to anything, so they are great at decluttering. Like if they're not using it, they'll get rid of it. They don't care. They're also the type that they know it's easier to keep their room clean when they have less stuff. So they're like, well, if I'm not using it, I'm getting rid of it because it's less for me to clean and take care of. But then you're going to have other kids that you have to figure out what motivates them. Also, what resonates. So I told her, I'm like, I love bins in kids' rooms, those like cube organizers, because that way they can visualize. If you say, hey, this is where your toys go, this is the space we have, instead of asking a child that loves everything if it sparks joy, or are you going to use this, can we get rid of it, you are changing up it and being like, this is the space we have to fill, so let's figure out what you need that will fit in here, and then once they're full, we're going to have to start making the hard decisions of what is leaving, because we only have this amount of space. So we talked a lot about that, but I definitely think it'll be good for me to come back and kind of show her with her daughter, because I know she doesn't want any of her 8-year-old's toys in the baby room, which I completely make sense. The toy box in there was her 8-year-old's, and that large gray stackable that had toys in it was her 8-year-old's as well. So honestly, if we can remove those two items out of that room, it will make life so much easier, because we were laughing and joking around about babies. Like, babies may not have a ton of toys in the very beginning, but their toys are big. Their toys take up so much space compared to if you have preteens, teenagers, things like that. It's like the smaller the child, the larger their toy items are. The other thing I did, my first round of organizing, is I had trapped myself in this room. So I did start working on like pulling stuff into this room, even though I didn't know exactly where I was going to go. That way I could get this loft bed and these tables out of here. I'm like, okay, now I need to make a pathway again to the front door, because I was losing space of where to put stuff. So it was nice to be able to get these big bulky items. These definitely made a massive difference. The amount of space these took up. Now, we did just put the tables in the front entry. That way her husband could figure it out exactly what was going to happen with them. They were on wheels, which actually made it a lot easier, because I was able to then just roll it and maneuver it into this hallway, and it made it so much easier to actually figure out where all of this stuff could go.
God only knows where we
Now, the other thing that's really important to talk about, especially when going through your smaller kids' things, I feel like this lessens as kids get older, but from like 6 and under, it can be really hard as parents to let go, because a lot of those sentimental attachments we have to them, because it's like, well, you played with this when you were a baby and you played with this when you were this age. So that is one thing that's really good to recognize when dealing with littles, and try. I say try because it is hard. Trust me, I have enough kids that I know it is very difficult, but try to take away that emotion and look at it more practical. If you have multiple push cars, how many push cars do your kids actually need? I actually have to make this decision coming up soon. I have 2 of the Paw Patrol like motorized dogs, and we have both of them, but Freya only ever uses the bigger one, and it's just being now stored, the smaller one, in their closet along with a rocking horse. But emotionally, I have a hard time letting go of those things. Freya loved Paw Patrol, so when I found those at a rummage sale for a steal of a deal, Bobby had to do a little bit of work to get them working again because they were cheap because they weren't actually working. I loved them, and she has loved them for years. And I also have that struggle of, okay, but even if she's not playing with it, like Athena will eventually play with it. So it can be very, very difficult. Watch me. I'm literally telling you guys to take the emotion away. And as I'm talking about these things that I know I have to probably get rid of, I'm like talking myself back into it. But recognize as a parent that a lot of the attachments are your emotional attachments to these things. So switching your way of thinking of, one, making a better, nicer place for your kids to play. Like, my kids play well in a clean and organized space. Now, with Athena, she might play well in chaos because girl just throws everything everywhere. But most kids play better in a clean and organized space. So downsizing their stuff actually helps them in the long run. And I always tell people, start young. If you start at a very young age decluttering things every single year, I do 2 declutters, fairly big declutters with the kids every single year. That way, come near their birthdays, come near the holidays, we have space for the new things coming in, because naturally they're going to get stuff between us and then the grandparents, and then they have a ton of aunts and uncles. Bobby and I both come from large families. I'm one of 5 kids. He's one of 5 kids. So needless to say, holidays can get hectic with stuff, and doing it 2 times a year, it makes it easier for them because it's kind of exciting because, hey, we're doing this because our birthdays are coming up, or hey, we're doing this because Christmas is coming up. Those are things that make it a lot easier, but then we're also not overwhelming them where it's just 2 times a year. We're not constantly doing it. It's not an overwhelming situation, but that is definitely something that I always recommend starting young. And I was telling her with her 8-year-old, I'm like, it is going to be more difficult because she is 8. And if this isn't something that has been taught much younger, it can be a lot harder to get them used to it. Honestly, think of us as adults. How many of us are still trying to build up that decluttering muscle? I say all the time, decluttering is like working out. When you first start, it's really hard to like figure out like, what do you need, what do you don't need, and get rid of that like second guessing yourself brain mentality that we often have. So it's the same for your kids. The first couple times is going to be really difficult, but when you start younger, it's just a game changer. When I started that with my kids, it's so much easier. And I hope that when they become adults, by doing it this way, it's just made their life in the future that much easier. So think of it that way as well. It can be difficult. It can feel like bad, like you're making your kids get rid of stuff. But in the long run, a lot of us are here watching a decluttering video because we got too much stuff. We're in a world of consumerism and we consume so much. But by doing these things early with our children, we can hopefully help them not to be in the same cycle that we are, because not only can it be exhausting to our mental health trying to keep a clean and organized home when we have too much stuff, it can also be detrimental to our pocketbooks. Most things don't come to our house just free. We spend money on it. So learning these skills early of figuring out what they want, need, and everything, and knowing that they don't have to buy everything that they see online is something that will benefit your children in the long run. So always try and look at the positives when you are doing things like this.
What a big mistake. Before a while I thought that I wouldn't break. I need something else to clear my head. Someone to tell me how to live instead. Just open your eyes and take my advice. Stop rolling the dice and just compromise. It's the chance of your life.
At this point, I was helping her with the crib situation. She was trying to figure out, her husband said that this crib mattress didn't go any lower. So I wanted to take a look at it because I'm like, I am almost positive that goes lower. Because she was afraid of her daughter falling out of and like climbing over. So we went over that. I did show her that it does get lower when they need it. But at this point, I was already very happy with the way it was turning out. Now, like I said, this stackable bin as well as that toy chest, we want to get out of this room eventually. On this day, it wasn't going to be possible because we have to go through her daughter's room, her 8-year-old daughter's room, before we can handle that. So sometimes you gotta like pivot and move things around to figure it out first. So for now, it's going to stay in this room. It still is so much easier. The 1-year-old can play in here and she doesn't have to worry about her getting hurt. But once we get into the 8-year-old's room, that's when we can take those out and really make a big difference. But now I had to figure out just the last couple things in this hallway. Now, a lot of this stuff wasn't too bad. It was a little chair, her rocking chair for when she gets up for those late night feeds. Her 1-year-old still does late night feeds. Oh, I feel bad whenever I hear about kids that don't sleep well at night. I have luckily been blessed and my kids have always slept really well at night, but some kids don't. Actually, I say that and my 5-year-old still wakes me up almost every single night, 1 or 2 nights this week. So my baby doesn't wake me up for eatings anymore, but my 5-year-old still will come in my room between 2 and 4 in the morning a couple times. So I guess as moms, we just learn to get used to it and live on very little sleep. But I knew I wanted to get this front entry back in order. So all my cleaning supplies and stuff I put by the front door. I'm like, I'm gonna be leaving soon anyway. Let's get this back in order. That way, when her husband got home from work and the baby was roaming around, she didn't need to worry about her getting into everything. Her husband works so many hours. She was telling me they just recently opened a business about 2 years ago. And anyone that owns their own business knows those first couple years, like, you are a slave to your work because you are the one doing everything. You don't have the capital to hire people yet. Like, it is a lot of work. So I was very happy to be able to come in here and help her in ways that she just couldn't right now, but still had like that urge of wanting to get it done and wanting to nest and be ready for baby boy. But quickly back to these befores, I'm always surprised at the massive transformation 3 hours can make. So this is just showing you, this is just 3 hours of work. Is it perfect? No. Is it so much better and so much more manageable? Absolutely. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, drop me this emoji down below if you made it to the end, and I will see you next time. Bye.